Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for listening in to End of Life Conversations. And what if I were to ask you, what are you really afraid of when we say we're afraid of death? In this conversation, author Liz Scott joins us to explore one of the most universal human experiences, facing our own mortality. Drawing from her new book, You're Going to Die, But Not Me, Liz shares how the death of her husband, the loss of her mother, and how her own life experience with breast cancer reshaped her understanding of grief, fear, and what it means to live fully.
Yeah, I loved how open she was about her fear of dying, and we get to discuss why people have this anxiety around death. It affects many of us, and how grief can change our relationship with life, of course, and also what hospice can teach us about dying well, and why ideas like consciousness and a word I hadn't heard before, panpsychism, that you'll get
I know.
to learn more about, right?
Such a
Can
cool
invite
word.
us to think differently. It makes, give us a way to think differently about life after loss. So again, whether you've been one of the people who's lost somebody you've loved, maybe you're wrestling with your own fear of the end of life, or maybe you work in hospice or end of life care, and maybe you simply want to live with greater intention. All of this can be of value in this conversation. So it offers compassionate insight and doesn't avoid those really hard questions. So look forward to your joining us. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. See you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to End of Life Conversations. I am the Reverend Mother Ana Luisa Armendariz, and today we are speaking with Liz Scott. Liz is a psychologist, writer, dog lover, and a blessed mama and grandma. Her newest book, You're Going to Die, But Not Me, is an up-close examination of her mortality journey from near terror to near acceptance.
And
Welcome.
we know about those. So
Thank you.
Yes, we do.
So glad to have you come and talk to us.
Thank you so much.
I'm the Reverend Wakil David Matthews. Liz also published a memoir, This Never Happened, which came out in 2019, followed by a memoir essay hybrid, Love, Life, Confessions of a Psychologist, in 2024. She's originally from New York City, and she lives in Portland, Oregon now, which is not too far down the I-5 from me. So it's welcome. So glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. Liz, so tell us more about what happened in your life that inspired you to begin this amazing work. Pray tell.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, the most obvious factor is that I'm so old. I'm so old. I can hardly believe how old I am. I just, because you know how it is. I mean, my inner age is right around 16.
Yeah.
and my chronological age is 79, which that's a big proof.
Yeah.
So
it is. I'm going to interrupt you really quick. Do you know what? I just had this song. Do you remember the Chicago song? Does anybody really know what time it is?
Yes.
We should sing. Does anybody really know what age I am? Does anybody really care? No.
You're going to get me singing now.
That's lovely, but I just want to acknowledge that. What is age?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
really, yeah.
I know. But it's just so, of course, mortality, the wolf is really scratching at the door. But I think this started, my husband died in 1999. That was my first really up close experience with death. He died at home, and so yes, that was a very up close experience. My mother died then in 2004, another very up close experience. And then in 2014, I had a breast cancer diagnosis, and so, mortality smack in my face. And I was really scared, really, really, really scared. I mean, that might sound like a very obvious thing to say. But the sort of contours of my fear started taking shape at that point. And I'm fine now. But physically, that all resolved very well. But as the years have gone on, that fear kept sort of revealing itself to me, and so I started writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'd
Yeah.
love to hear more. Tell us more about
Yeah.
how it revealed itself to you, and what kind of lessons you've learned, what you've shared in your book, and what we'll definitely, of course, link to that. But I want everybody to buy it.
That's very kind.
But tell us more.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is different than many people that I've spoken to might conceptualize their fear of death. I haven't had much fear of the dying part. I think part of that was based on my experience with my husband, and we were so fortunate to have hospice workers who, are angels walking on this earth,
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
ask me. They were just, blessed people. I'm so grateful for their experience. And so my belief around the dying part is that there are enough hospice workers and enough morphine in the world that I'm not really afraid of the suffering part, the pain, the suffering part of it. For me, it was this concept of annihilation. And this is a little bit embarrassing to admit, but when I explored this idea of annihilation, um, this sense of like, well, how exactly is the world going to keep spinning without me in it? How is that going to work? And how is it possible for everything to keep going on when I'm not alive? And the sort of very humbling, embarrassing part of that is that I come from, both of my parents were sort of, you could probably find their pictures in the DSM under the chapter of narcissism. So that has sort of narcissistic echoes for me, like I'm so special that the world can't twirl around without me in it. So this idea of annihilation just is a very terrifying notion to me. And that's what that propelled this journey that I started on in writing this book.
Yeah. It's interesting and fascinating. Actually, I know when in our work, we work with people, and everybody has a different response. We in a lot of our podcasts early on, one of our questions was what frightens you, and as many times people are afraid of what's going to happen afterward. They don't know. It's a mystery, or they do know, or they think they know, and we actually find that people who think they know are the most frightened because they think they haven't been good enough to make it.
Right.
But it's fascinating to think that would kind of define your
excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Define where how you began this journey, how you began talking about this. So yeah, that's interesting, and I think, I don't know, I think all of us probably have some. I'll say that from my perspective, when I've lost somebody, there's that sense that how can the world continue to spin? Like when my mother died, I remember thinking I actually had to come home in a hurry from a trip I was on, and she had died while I was in flight. So as I landed on the ground, and I just remember walking out into the airport going, how can this all still be here?
Yes.
Right? How can people still be walking around, driving cars, flying airplanes? How can this even be when my mother's not here anymore? That doesn't make any sense,
Totally.
Yeah. So I feel it from both sides. I can understand that.
Yeah. I remember, that reminds me of this experience I had so my husband was in the hospital for about a month before he came home to die. And I remember looking out the window of his hospital room. People were, walking down the street with their coffee and shopping bags. And it was so bizarre. Like, how do people, they're just functioning as though everything is normal and fine. It's this very weird kind of feeling like you're in a whole different dimension.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I'm just going to throw this out there, Liz. So I don't feel the same as you two. And because I kind of feel like my sister died 7 years ago and she's still here. So I'm like, the world continues with my sister in it, right? Like,
Oh, there's that.
I
Yeah.
sense her, I smell her. There's times when my kids are like, doesn't it seem like Tita's here? And I'm like,
Really?
yeah, it sure does. So I have this like my lens is a little weird, and it's like, there's other dimensions. Like I meet the people who are like, they're just in this other dimension. They just can't see them. And I'm like, probably.
Well, that's very comforting. And as I was writing this book, I went down every conceivable rabbit hole around the topic of death. And actually, I was just writing another essay this morning about panpsychism.
Ooh, what is that?
Yeah. So when I first came across panpsychism, it sounded like something that was very like, maybe started in the 60s, maybe it was like kind of a groovy thing, but it actually used to be the prevailing theory of mind a couple of centuries ago. And panpsychism, the theory is that everything in the universe, everything animate and inanimate, has consciousness. And I know that's kind of a hard
Here.
pill.
No,
Yeah,
I'm right there.
Yay.
Totally
I mean,
yeah.
it's a hard pill to swallow in a lot of ways. But if you think about, like, of course, I mean, yes, I'm a dog lover, and it's easy to my dog. When you live with animals, it's easy to know that they have consciousness and and personalities. That's fairly hardly anybody would argue with that. And as I was exploring this panpsychism, I mean, coral have an amazing intelligence. Orchids can. It's just incredible. But
that's right.
Yeah, and trees talk to each other, and even if you take it to the level of, oceans or Mount Everest or rocks, I mean, I know it. That's a leap of faith.
Yeah,
but it was such a. It was one of the things that decreased my fear as I was exploring and writing this book, is this sense of we are all in this sort of cosmic web of consciousness, right? And my bodily form might dissolve, but dissolving is different than annihilating,
Yeah, that's so true.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
Go, Wakil. Go.
Well, I was thinking about this yesterday. Somebody was talking about a new declaration they made, interfaith declaration of something, and for the 250th anniversary, and they were saying we honor all humans. We honor the right of all humans to live their lives, blah blah blah. And I said, well, what about everything else?
What about everything else?
Yeah, and it is a step.
Everyone
further.
else.
Everyone else.
Everything else.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. What is, and it is a step further to think of like the books behind us, or the the wall, or the rock, or the floor, or whatever. But everything is resonating. Everything has atoms that are moving and making and changing, and so I don't. And the other thing we've learned through this work is how many people have, or how narrow our senses are. So, like you were saying, Ana Luisa, you don't see them, but they definitely feel them, maybe, or there's some other senses that we don't even have access to. If you think about the way the insects see the world, or the way animals see the world, it's so totally different and beyond our capacity even to experience,
understand.
And so if we take that and expand that a little further, there's no reason to think that all of these things aren't living in some kind of conscious way, and deserve protection and love and care. So that's the other piece of it. Yeah.
So I have to tell you, Liz, I homeschooled my kids, and I was out at some geological museum somewhere, sitting at the kid table playing with rocks. And it just happened to be that day, this young man who was the volunteer docent for the kids museum was there, and he joined us. And I love rocks. My house has piles of them, right? And so he sort them as a game, like I was doing it just as I wanted to play too. But then we started on this long talk about and we never got into like naming what he was trying to say, but he said, every single stone has its own history, and it collides with others and becomes something different. And even as they're crushed, they still have form. They will reform into some other stone. And I was like, rocks reincarnate? And he's like,
Oh,
they kind of do. And I
my
was like,
gosh.
oh my God, I love you, guy, right? So I really appreciated that
Oh, love
as a
it.
concept from a scientific, rational, mind who was like not speaking the language I speak, but certainly adjacent to it, right?
Yeah.
As in all this story. So anyhow, I just wanted to share that because I've been on your team for a long time, sister.
Yay, yay, yay. And, it's related to, well, first of all, if you don't stop me, I'll talk about my dog all day. So you must stop me because I will. But so I have I work out of my home. I see clients out of my home, and my dog is in the office with us. He's a little 17-pound sweetie pie, and
Sweetie pie.
he's a sweetie pie. And what he'll do is when the client comes and sits down on the couch, he'll jump up on the couch and say hi, and then he'll go to his bed and stay in his bed. My sessions are 45 minutes long, and I swear to goodness, at 44 minutes, he gets out of his bed and goes over to the client. And it's like, how does he know that it's one more minute? How does he know that? So I'm saying this because of the intelligence that exists in the universe in ways, as you were saying, that we don't quite honor or attend to.
Dismiss.
Yes, exactly. And we think this very chauvinistic, humans are, the most amazing
Top
thing.
dogs.
Yeah.
Top somethings.
Top dogs. Yeah, exactly. And so many other entities have different and actually more refined senses of intelligence, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
It really is. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, so you talked about your dog, but this is one of your challenges, like talking about your dog. So we already got to that question. So I'm making. But the other part about this too is I have always named my cars, my trucks. I've always had trucks. I've always named them, and I don't know why. It just started when I was younger, and then at some point in my 20s, I realized I was driving and just trying to just wrap my head around creating a car, right? Oil is being formed into my dashboard, and there's sand that is my glass, my windshield, and I have actual dinosaur bits in my gas tank. And so as I'm driving on my road trip, I'm just kind of the metals and the wires and the plastics, right? So, and I realized they're all part of this earth. And since that moment, every single time, I'm my current truck her name is Athena. And I'm just like, Athena, I'm sorry that you were taken from the land where you were so happy. But thank you for being my steed and taking me safely across the land, right?
Gosh.
So because part of it for me, it's my practice of recognizing the animate in all things deemed inanimate.
Yes.
And so when we talk about death and dying, these corporal sacks of dirt are animated by a spirit, but the body is not necessarily the spirit, right? So when you say that, it's you're not annihilated. You're not annihilated.
Yeah. And boy, panpsychism you are talking about panpsychism inside and out there. Totally.
I've been there since I was in my 20s.
Amazing. It was definitely one of the ways I think about writing this book is that it was a kind of a crash course in exposure therapy for me, the kind of psychological methodology of increasing exposure to a fearful event or stimulus that kind of decreases your fear. And so that was definitely one of the aspects that helped me along the way.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So
I'm so grateful for that for you.
Thank you so much. Me too.
I was thinking about those stones too, and how as they dissolve and become sand, we can make sand castles.
Totally.
My son and I used to make sandcastles as a hobby, and we made a lot of really amazing sandcastles. And there, you've got creativity from an entity and it creates this beauty and this creativity, and it's also going to go away as soon as the waves come in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a really great metaphor for the fact that, we are this body. We have creativity, we have love, and the other thing is gratitude. Just being so thankful to every one of these beings around us, all of these things that are keeping us alive, that are giving us beauty and love and
Playing with us.
showing up and playing with us. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah,
This is my first tattoo. It's one of the universal symbols of gratitude.
Oh, beautiful.
Is it
Perfect.
really? Is it like a spiral?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
That's lovely. It's a good reminder. That's wonderful.
Yeah. We always
Oh
try
my
to
gosh,
remember.
Liz, I love it. I love it.
Really appreciate this. Let's see. So we talked about a lot of this already. So when things are kind of rough, when things, like you said, you had some time where it was really difficult. What have you found as a good way to resource yourself and to give yourself what you need to keep going, to get up again?
To get up again. Yeah, and I don't want to overstate the where I am in this journey. It's one of the reviews I got on my book, which I loved so much. This woman said, after reading this book, I'm 4% less afraid of dying. And which
how clinical.
I loved it so much because, that's where I am maybe 10%. I don't imagine, it's hard for me to, let me say this, it's hard for me to imagine getting to the place where I'm not afraid. It's just really hard for me to imagine. But I don't kind of want to give away the ending of the book because there is an arc. But as I explored what was underneath the fear, there was stuff that was underneath the fear. Let me say this. I think some people have an easier time feeling some feelings than other feelings. Some feelings are easier to access than others. Fear is a feeling that's easier for me to access than sadness, for example. And I understand the sort of my childhood roots of that. And for some people, it's sadness is harder to access, or whatever. Anger is harder to access, or for some reason. Now I can't remember what your question was.
How do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of
myself? Thank you. Yeah. So if I can remind myself of the sort of foundational, what's underneath this all, remind myself. If I can sort of access the things like awe and wonder as a physical experience, not an intellectual experience, but a physical experience, and connect to the whole kind of cosmic web in a physical way. Again, the distinction between annihilation and dissolution of this bodily form. I can feel the kind of ease in my body when I can do that. I can feel really physical, slowing of my heartbeat, slower breathing, relaxation of muscles. I can feel it in my body. So a kind of meditations on awe and wonder and connection are very calming to me, and are most definitely a way of taking care of myself.
That's so good. Yeah. So important.
Yeah.
We talk about
Liz,
remembering all the time.
All the time. Remember.
Yeah.
Liz, I have a question, and it's a curiosity. And if you don't feel like you want to answer this, you could just be like, pass. But did you, before you started sitting with your fear of annihilation, did you have an idea of what was going to happen with your corporal body once you died?
Okay, this is going to sound very weird.
No, it won't. Just say it.
You're talking to weird folks here. Yeah.
Probably not. No. Okay. Bring it. Try me.
I had this picture in my mind of me in my body floating around all alone in a black universe. That's
Ooh.
it was a horrifying picture.
But
Yeah.
okay, floating alone in a universe.
Black universe, all black.
So you're in like a black hole and not in actually like a galaxy and stars.
Yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
I'm not seeing pretty stars.
Okay. So that's what you imagined when you were thinking about the end for you. But you were still cognizant of you being in that space.
Yes.
So you weren't annihilated. You weren't completely gone. You actually were like, I am still here.
That's a good point.
I mean, right? Like, I mean, I'm sorry that you were in a black hole. When I usually
not a lot of fun there, right?
I mean, it could get interesting, you know. I mean, I watch a lot of Star Trek, so it could go a little. You could jump into a wormhole. You never know. But I just, and I don't. If this is inappropriate, you can just toss it out.
No.
Who cares?
I'll talk about anything.
But recognizing that annihilation, I think about annihilation, and I feel like the word has always been the scary word around nuclear annihilation.
Yes.
Climate annihilation, right? So it means the end of what is now.
Yeah.
And when you speak about that as in your corporal being, and if you are a panpsychic, you're kind of going to stick around no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
some form.
In some form. So I wonder, like, I've never thought about this. I might spend the afternoon cogitating, but what can be annihilated? Right?
Well, that's the point, right? This is really, as I examined this all and really held my feet to the fire on this, it's a physics problem, really. You can't destroy matter.
That's right.
You can't destroy matter. So I realized that this bag of bones and muscles and
meat packet.
I realized that it might, change form, but it's, I can't. This matter is not going to be destroyed, and I know that image in the sort of me floating around in some black hole is, a very bizarre, and it doesn't really go together with the notion of annihilation. I get that those are sort of contradictory. It's just the picture that kept popping up in my head.
Yeah. I can kind of envision that as not a thing floating around, but just this
consciousness.
This consciousness or soul, if you will. That whatever spark that knows that you are you, that recognizes yourself as you, still is out there recognizing there's a me somewhere, but I have no body, I have no life, I have no world, and I'm just floating around. To some people, that might be the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
But you're saying something now that I haven't quite thought of before, which is that in that picture I had, that really kind of a bizarre picture, I imagine that I did have an awareness that, oh my God, this is me alone in this black universe, that I did have an awareness of self, and that there was a kind of Lizness that persisted.
That's right.
And I don't believe that there is a Lizness. I don't believe that. I believe that, I will disperse and, take many forms and stuff, but there's not going to be a Lizness that persists. So that's contradictory to that scary notion of, oh my God, I'm floating around all by myself in this black hole.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. We're adults here. We can live in paradox.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Yes, I love paradox.
Elizabeth Gilbert said that. I love when she said that. So yes, we're adults here. We can live in paradox.
Yes, exactly. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, and kind of have to. Well, and I think that we also recognize that if you are connecting to all of that, if you're believing that that's a real thing and that it's all connected, that if we dissolve into that, maybe we manifest in some other way, maybe come up as, there's I think it's maybe Rumi that says we begin, as a plant, or we begin as a rock, and then we become a plant, and then we become an animal, or we go back around, or whatever way we go. And if we are actually part of that connection that's connected to all, then at some point this human body, this awareness even may pop up somewhere else, or may not. Who knows?
May not. It's the mystery.
It's the mystery. It's a mystery. And if I think about, I don't think there was any Lizness before I was born, and that doesn't feel scary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
that doesn't feel scary.
Yeah.
You're a unique manifestation of that oneness, and
in this moment, in this particular
exactly.
moment, right?
Yeah. The next moment's going to change. So
I hope not too soon.
Of course we don't. No, not too soon. Not too soon. May it be so.
You
never know.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah, my kids are always like, "You're not going to die soon," and I'm like, I mean, I don't think so, but maybe.
I know. I don't know.
I get that a lot from both my children. So, but
Do you?
I do, and I don't ever want to say absolutely not, because I don't believe that, and they also know how I'm excited for that black hole. So,
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Really? Can you tell me more about that?
Oh, well, he's known me I start crying because I want to go home, and that's where I want to be, in that space. But I think part of the reason I asked you about the annihilation and the Lizness is that, and I'm not going to get into great detail, but I had do you know what a temazcal is, or a sweat lodge experience?
With
in
mezcal?
Mexico, it's temazcal is the sweat lodge word it's the inipi of Mexico. And so I was there I studied as an herbalist with a bunch of healers, curanderas and curanderos. And we had to go through this sweat lodge, and lots of stuff happened there. But one of the things that happened was I got out of my body, essentially. And then in a moment, it was like those like the Big Bang second that I had this vision of almost the black hole, but I could see galaxies. I could see the big deep blackness, and I got so happy. I was just like, oh my God, I'm free.
Wow.
And so
really,
I'm not afraid of that. I'm looking forward to it. If that's the thing, I'm like, sign me up.
Wow, it's amazing. I did. So one of the other rabbit holes I went down in this exploration was about psychedelics. And I had an experience with, 5-MeO-DMT.
Yeah.
That that's the experience I had on that. On that.
The galaxy trip?
Okay. That's the experience I had. And it was, words kind of cheapen the experience. You know how that is.
Of course.
But it's what you're saying.
But wait a second. When you had that experience, was that the beginning of this fear of annihilation then?
No. It was one of the things that has
Okay.
helped me, because
Good. Okay.
because I had this sense of being like a piece of stardust almost. I was like a piece of stardust, and I could.
You're
and
just
all
in
the,
it.
the stardust was all around me, and it was. It was it was the most powerful experience of awe that I've ever had in my whole life.
That's right.
And that was several years ago, but even now, if I close my eyes and think about it,
I can breathe. Yes. And it's the medicine, Liz. That is exactly the medicine for you to assuage the fear of the annihilation, because I mean, I'm a believer in the divine cosmic whateverness. And I don't think that the divine cosmic universe wants us to feel like that. This is a journey of sheer joy, pleasure, pain, poop, snot, tears, because what an amazing journey it is to be in this corporal body, right? So I am so grateful. I want to thank the universe for giving you that opportunity to have it as a touchstone for when you feel fearful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's
really
great.
beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I can't wait to read the book. It's
Oh,
Me
going to
too.
be, yeah. So,
that's nice, you
and I
guys.
hope
That's very,
everybody else will do so.
that's very, very
Um,
nice.
Yes.
We always like to ask at the end whether there's anything we didn't ask you that you would like to share with our audience or us.
Well, let me just say that it's a little piece of advice for the people out there, and this is a general piece of advice, but something that really, really helped me, which is, and something I work with clients a lot around, which is the um, um, avoidance increases fear and anxiety,
Yeah.
and approach is the antidote.
Mm.
So whatever we're afraid of, I encourage people to move toward and examine and take a look at. And it's, I had to take my own advice on this, writing this book, and it was so helpful. So
Yeah.
I just think it's just as a general principle in life.
Yes.
I don't love the word confront because it sounds sort of aggressive, but, kind of welcome your fear, invite
Yeah.
it to the table.
Yeah.
Lean in. Yeah.
Or stay put, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that. And of course, there's always the wonderful help of people like yourself. So if you can, find a teacher or a counselor to help you walk through that, because
Yes.
it can be difficult. And those
Absolutely.
folks are trained to companion you through those processes. So, yeah, thank you. That's a really, really great point that we should all be paying attention to. There's a wonderful Rumi poem which says, basically welcome everything in, no matter what it is.
I so
the
believe
guest
that.
house.
The guest house.
Yeah.
So believe that. Yeah, I think about setting a table and inviting all the guests in,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, thank you again so much, and we appreciate you so much for all the work you're doing and for your book
Yes.
and for these
Wait,
wonderful thoughts.
do we have a poem or a quote?
I
No.
didn't do anything.
That's okay.
No
Well,
worries.
so I use the Dylan Thomas poem in my book, but I have annotations on it because the Rage Against the Dying of the Light, but that hasn't worked out so well, the raging. So I will not recommend the Dylan Thomas poem. But no, I didn't come up with anything else. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
No worries. It's all good. All good.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much, and we will be in touch.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much. I really
Liz.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Adios.
Blessings.
Adios.
Conversations about the end of life.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Charles Heaston, the composer of the original music you are listening to now.
And of course, thanks to you, our audience, and all of our amazing guests. Please come back next week for another great episode. Share this with your friends, family, and community. We hope you will subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack. Each guest's additional information will be found in the podcast notes. And of course, if you have a good end-of-life story to share, please reach out. We are always eager to hear from you.